We tell the story of the witch hunts in the past tense, a thing Europe did, a darkness our ancestors grew out of, safely sealed behind the word medieval. It is not in the past tense. Right now, this year, this month, children are being branded as witches, beaten, starved, burned, buried alive, and abandoned to die by their own families on the authority of a pastor and a verse. The verse is the same one we wrote about in the witch trials. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. The fire is the same fire. What has changed is the address. The witch hunt did not die. It moved. In parts of West and Central Africa and in Papua New Guinea, belief in witchcraft as a real malign force is widespread and old. And that is where the apologist wants the story to stop. Folk superstition. Nothing to do with us. But that is not where the modern panic comes from. The thing turning a vague fear of magic into the systematic accusation of children and into a profitable industry of deliverance is, by the documentation of UNICEF and the people who work the ground, the explosive growth of a particular kind of Christianity. The deliverance ministries of revivalist Pentecostalism preach a world saturated with literal demons and a gospel in which the believer's job is to cast them out. Misfortune, a death, an illness, poverty itself, is reframed as spiritual attack. And the attacker can be anyone, including the most powerless person in the household, including a child, a prophet who can diagnose the witch in your family and then charge you to deliver them, has built a business on the oldest fear there is. The Old Testament supplies the sentence. The New Testament's demons supply the method. The pattern is documented and named. In the Niger Delta state of Akwa Ibom, Nigeria, child witch accusations exploded alongside the spread of revivalist churches, and field workers and journalists traced a direct line to prophets who made their reputation and their money by identifying children as witches. The most cited figure is Helen Ukpabio, a Nigerian Pentecostal preacher whose church and whose lurid 1999 film spread to a mass audience the explicit teaching that children, even infants, can be witches, marked by ordinary things, crying at night, illness, bedwetting. She has denied responsibility for the violence that followed. The people who pulled the children out of the aftermath disagree. Once a society accepts that a child can be a witch, and a respected pastor is willing to point at one, the rest follows with terrible logic. The diagnosis is the death sentence. This is the part there is no gentle way to say, so we will say it plainly and stop. Children accused of witchcraft have been, in cases documented by name by the organizations that work there, beaten, burned with fire and boiling water and acid, had nails driven into their heads, starved, chained, forced to drink poison to confess, abandoned on the street, and killed. Those who survive are often thrown out, and across the Democratic Republic of the Congo, especially Kinshasa, the accusation of witchcraft is a leading cause of the city's tens of thousands of abandoned street children, the enfants sorciers, child witches, cast out of families a pastor had told they were harboring a demon. These are not the Dark Ages either. This is the century of the smartphone, in the hand of the person filming the deliverance. We hold ourselves to the same rule here as everywhere. The conservative sourced figure, and an honest admission of what we don't know. And what we don't know is a lot. This is, by its nature, an underreported crime committed inside families in poor and remote places against children no one is counting. There is no clean global death toll, and anyone who hands you one with confidence is guessing. what there is. UNICEF's study documenting the phenomenon across multiple African countries and tying its modern spread to revivalist churches. Field organizations who documented and sheltered hundreds of accused and abused children in a single Nigerian state. And in the Congo, estimates that witchcraft accusation drives a large share of Kinshasa's street children, numbering in the tens of thousands. We will not say thousands killed, as if we had counted the bodies. We will say what is enough, that it is happening right now, and that the careful people who measure it describe a problem large enough to need shelters and laws and rescue operations to exist at all. Here is the move this story most needs to refuse, and it cuts in two directions. The first is the racist one, to file this under Africa and feel comforted by the distance. But the belief that a witch lives among you and must be destroyed is not African. It is human, and the West held it longest and killed most methodically for it. 50,000 of our own on the same verse a few centuries ago. To gawk at this as someone else's savagery is to forget our own fire was bigger. The second is the apologists. It's just folk belief, not real Christianity. But the documentation does not support the clean separation. The engine of the modern panic is a Christianity, a deliverance theology of literal demons and paid exorcism, preached in churches, sold in films, exported and franchised across continents. The men profiting from accusing children quote scripture, not folklore. You cannot keep the conversions and disown the consequences. The same accusation kills on the other side of the world. In Papua New Guinea, people, overwhelmingly women, are accused of causing death or sickness through sorcery, and then tortured and killed, sometimes by mobs, sometimes burned alive. The belief here is older and more indigenous, and we should be careful not to flatten a different context into the same shape. But the lethal logic, a misfortune, an accusation, a confession under torture, a killing endorsed by the crowd, is the witch trial's logic exactly. And as in every holy hell, there are people who saw it for what it is and said so. Nigerian activists, a handful of brave local pastors and officials, field organizations who built shelters, prosecuted abusers, and passed laws. They are the proof that this is not an unalterable feature of a culture. It is a thing some people do that others fight, and that scripture and prophet make worse. So here is the receipt in 3 parts. What is happening? In parts of Africa and the Pacific, children and women are accused of witchcraft and tortured, abandoned, and killed. A pattern driven in its modern African form, substantially by Pentecostal deliverance ministries that profit from diagnosing and exorcising witches. On the authority of the same Bible verse that fueled the European witch trials, the apologists spin. That's tribal superstition, not Christianity. The numbers are exaggerated. The West shouldn't judge. And the rebuttal. The documentation ties the modern panic to revivalist churches and named paid prophets, not to folklore alone. The men doing it quote scripture. We refuse the inflated number, and we refuse the comfortable distance. The West held this belief longest and killed most for it, and this is its living continuation, carried partly by a Christianity the West exported. We started this series in 1527, with a man drowned in a river for choosing his own baptism. And we promised it was not really about the past. This is the proof. The witch the 17th century burned, and the child the 21st century brands, are accused of the same imaginary crime, condemned by the same 9 words of Scripture, and destroyed by the same machine. A fear, a holy text taken literally, an authority who profits from the certainty, and a community willing to believe that the most defenseless person in the room is the source of all its pain. The verse is still in the book, and somewhere, tonight, a pastor is reading it over a frightened child, and a family is listening and getting out the fire. That is not history. That is the news.